Hello friends, welcome to Dr. Varsha Gaitonde's channel. In this lecture, I am going to talk about field counts and reinspection. In my previous videos, I have already covered about inspection. So, here we shall talk about something else which is beyond field inspection. Just to refresh your knowledge, I'll talk something about field inspection. As you know, field inspection is one of the step in seed certification where the seed certification officers will move to the fields and inspect for different components. The definition says field inspection, that is, inspection of standing seed crops, is an essential step in verifying conformity of seed crops to prescribed certification standards. That means the purpose of inspection is to check whether that particular field is following or it is amenable for the certification standards or not. The objectives of inspections are to verify seed origin and identify the variety, to collect information on cropping history of the seed field, that is, to verify whether the seed field meets the prescribed land requirements or not, to check crop and cultivation conditions, to check isolation distance, to check freedom from impurities, namely other crop plants and weed plants, then to check freedom from other cultivars or off types, and to check freedom from seed-borne diseases. The general principles of seed inspection are all field inspections must be made by well trained and qualified personnel. That means a well graduated or a person who is specialized in particular subject, mainly in breeding or maybe in seed science and technology, or for disease and pest they may be entomologist or pathologist are required to inspect the fields for a particular component. But generally when the seed certification officers are recruited, they'll be the graduates of particular disciplines which are required. So the second principle is the prescribed procedure and techniques of field inspection and the minimum number of inspections specified in the certification standards. Inspection of cross-pollinated crops during flowering and those self-pollinated crops which are inspected by designated seed-borne diseases during flowering stage. That means inspections may be made in different stages, and that is based on whether the plant is self-pollinated or cross-pollinated. For self-pollinated crops, the number of inspections required or the number of field visits to be required are less as compared to cross-pollinated crops, because in case of cross-pollinated crops the contamination from the other pollen sources will be more. So during flowering stage the designated diseases should be taken care of. Seed inspectors should achieve full cooperation from seed growers even in case of the rejection of the field. That means it is not that whenever certification officer is rejecting the field and that person is doing some influence, it won't happen, because certification is a thing which is in the benefit of farmer. If that particular lot is not meeting the prescribed standards, means if that will reach the farmer's field, that may lose, or the farmer may lose his entire cropping season because of that one particular mistake. Upon arrival of the seed farm, the inspector should check all information about species, varieties, seed design, cultivation area, class of seed, cropping history of the field. Each field and its boundaries must be pointed by the seed growers. That means whenever the officers are inspecting or visiting that particular field, means the field owner or the grower of particular variety of that particular crop need to give full cooperation in just designing or just fixing the boundaries, along with all the information should be furnished by him which are required by the particular officer. So let us talk about field counts. Field counts means the number of counts to be taken varies with area of the field under inspection and the method of taking counts varies from crop to crop. For all crops, 5 counts are taken for an area up to 5 acres, and an additional count is taken for each additional 5 acres or part. There it is given here, the number of counts are fixed. Okay, for area like 0 to 5 acres, 5 counts should be taken. That means up to 2 hectares, 5 field counts are recommended. 6 to 10 acres, that means for 4 hectares, 6 field counts. 11 to 15 acres, 7 field counts. 16 to 20 acres, 8 field counts. And 21 to 25, 9 field counts. There is one more term known as double count. In any inspection, if the first set of counts shows that the seed crop does not conform to the prescribed standards for any factor, second set of counts should be taken for that factor. However, when the first set of counts show a factor is more than twice the maximum permitted, it is not necessary to take a second set of counts. Two sets of counts are called double counts. That means if a inspector is going to particular field or a certification officer, then if he is not finding that the prescribed standards are not met by that particular grower, then he may go for the second count, and by taking that first count and second count, that is known as double count. So the number of plant counts, for some crops it differs from crop to crop. The number of counts for different crops we shall discuss in further slides. So this is a pattern how an inspector or how a seed certification officer move in that particular field to take the counts. Okay, the first zigzag motion, here you can see this particular one. In this, he may cover up to 75% of the field. Okay, the second one is here, this one. Here he can cover up to 60 to 70% of the field count. The third one is at random. This is the third one. Fourth one is in clockwise direction. You may see in the entire field he is moving in clockwise direction. The fifth count or the fifth field design is known as the best and standard one, because if he is moving in this motion, okay, as given here, that covers about 85% of the field. So as much he is covering the field, that means giving more accurate results. The sixth one is observations of 60% of the field. So among all the pictures, this one is the best. During the walk in the field, inspector must make estimates of other varieties and impurities, diseased plants, general conditions of the crop, applied farm practices, and possible yield. That means he has to take count of all the agronomic, breeding, entomological, and pathological perspectives while moving or walking in the fields. If the direction of plant rows permits, the inspector should walk through his side or back. So for what things the field counts are taken? It may be to see the off types, for seeing the pollen shedders or to finding out the pollen shedders, then shedding tassels in case of maize, then inseparable other crop plants, objectionable weed plants, and diseased plants. So we were discussing about the number of counts taken for per means number of plants which are required for counts in different crops. For bhindi, brinjal, capsicum, castor, chili, cotton, cucurbits, maize, groundnut, red gram, sunflower, and tomato, number of heads per count should be 100 plants. For black gram, bengal gram, cowpea, green gram, peas, sesamum, and safflower, 500 plants are required, because the plant size is also very small, and here the differentiation is quite difficult. So 500 plants should be taken in order to avoid the confusion. In case of bajra, paddy, sorghum, wheat, ragi, jute, soybean, these require 1000 heads. One more aspect is there, that is reinspection. In case of seed fields not conforming to prescribed standards for certification at any inspection, the seed certification authority shall, upon the respect of seed producer and after the removal of sources of contamination in the seed fields or the contaminant field, perform one or more inspections provided such removal can ensure conformity of the seed crop to be prescribed standards and provided further that no irreversible damage has been caused to the quality of the seed by the contaminants. Certification authority may at its discretion also perform one or more inspections over and above the minimum number of inspections prescribed if considered necessary. Okay, inspection is done at one stretch, means one time. Then after that there will be double count, that means one count is taken, and double count means two counts are taken. First count is only rejected when the prescribed standards are not followed. Okay, and if the second count is also not following the prescribed standards, then there is a requirement of reinspection, and reinspection will be done, or it will be done based on the request of that particular producer. Okay, second count or the double count will be done based on the wish of particular inspector as well as grower, but reinspection is only demanded by the growers. That's all. Thank you, friends. The information furnished by me, I hope so that it will be helpful for you, and your one like, one comment, or subscribing my channel will encourage me to make further good videos. Thank you once again. Bye bye.